Hello everybody. The idea to this tutorial came me when my youngest son asked if I would have a spare VGA cable. Of course I had more than one, and when I saw the plug I thought this is quite an interesting shape and I want to try to model it. So let's start. I will do it with the real dimensions, which are 34 by 15 millimeters. So I start in a new mesh, make a reference first with 34 by 15 millimeters. Center everything in the middle, hit the A key and go to a new mesh. So here is a new mesh again. I call the first one reference and the second one I call plug. Okay, in the plug layer I start with a 12-sided circle and I make it 4 by 4 millimeters, and this is probably 0 and this must be minus 13, then it should be exactly aligned to my reference. Then I go back to my reference layer and Shift C, cut an edge through here exactly at the end of this circle, like so. Go back to the plug, select it, go to polygon spiky, and then I take these three, Ctrl X, Ctrl V, Ctrl copy, Ctrl V, W key, and bring this to about here. Drop the tool. Then I can merge these vertices back in, so and connect these two together. Now I use Z key, bring it down to here, R, W key, then I can Shift C, cut an edge through here and connect these two vertices together. And select these vertices and hit the P key. We can now make sure that we have a straight line here, R key, and zero it out. Okay, now I go up to here and select these edges here and the Z key again, R key, W, and bring it back to about here, and then I can connect these vertices together, like so. I don't need to see this reference for the moment, and next I go and bevel this circle here, B key, Shift click again, and delete. Then I bevel this area in, B key again, and drop the tool. We don't need these here, and in fact we don't need the top, so, and W. Make sure this is straight. Okay, good. Now I bevel this in. About so. Drop the tool, and now I can get rid of these and put a new one in here. Then select these edges and set key again, bring it out to here, then go to vertex, set position 0 on the X. Good. Next I would like to put in an additional edge in here, which will help us later with this area. So Shift C again, cut through here just a bit, then I can go down here and remove this middle edge and put a new one in here, like so. Drop the tool. Now I can duplicate mirror over the Z, apply. Yes, that looks good. And if you have seen my 2D to 3D tutorials, you probably notice what approach I'm choosing for this model. Perspective. First, I go to polygon mode, Shift X, and bring this up 2 millimeters. Then I put an edge in here, which makes selection a bit easier. Then I select this L key, Shift select these and these polygons, Shift up arrow, Shift X, and bring this up by 13 millimeters. Drop the tool. Now we can select these and this here, Shift up arrow and Shift X again, bring this up another 8 millimeters. These are, by the way, the real values of such a plug. Next, I go to top view, make my reference visible, go to wireframe and W key and bring this back till these vertices here match with the line we put in earlier. Now I can delete these vertices and go back to Advanced OpenGL. Next, we need to know the position of this vertex here. So go to the lists, minus 9 millimeters. Then I put symmetry on the Z, select these vertices, up arrow key, and then go to vertex, set position minus 9 on the X, and we have exactly a straight line now. Maybe I put it W key a bit further out, like so, so we don't have any pinching. Good. Perspective. We don't need this edge here anymore, and we can vertex set position 0 on the X here again. Now I can get rid of these back polygons, delete, and start hardening some edges. First I delete this one, backspace delete, then Alt C with a count of 2, and symmetry about 1%. Okay, next this one, Alt C again, like so. Same here, Alt C. What do we have? Also 1%. And last up here on the top, Alt C. Like so. Good. Okay. Next, if we subdivide it, you see we have quite a nice area here, really nice, and this is because I put in this additional line which helps a bit really holding this edge. But what we need to do is this one needs much more hardening, and these two should look crisper as well, so let's do that. First I put in a single edge here with about 95%, and you see this also helps holding these later on, and it will also be a nice area too. And the problem is, if we would put an edge in here, it would destroy this inner circle. So we have to redirect this, and I select these polygons and these two, and then if I put in a single edge, it will only be put to that selected area. So 5%, good. And now I can redirect this to another place, and now we have very nice edges in here. Next I duplicate this, duplicate, mirror over the X, apply, and get rid of this middle edge. We don't need it for the time being, and now I can put some additional details in. Okay, so Alt C with the count of 2, but uniform. Then I put in an other edge down here with about the same distance as the others. Then I can select all these, B for bevel, make sure group polygons is not activated, then we can bevel it in on the red handle first, shift click, bevel it in again, shift click, now on the blue handle a bit, -0.1, shift click, -0.2, shift click, -0.1, and shift click again, now on the red handle, bring this in a bit, drop the tool. Okay. Now there is probably the manufacturer logo. At least it looks quite interesting, so I put it in. So start here, bevel this in once, shift click, bevel it in again, R key, make it more this shape, B key again, but this time we must make sure we have group polygons on, and bevel it in a bit, shift click, bevel it in a bit more, shift click, and again about the same amount as the first one. Drop the tool. Now we can select these, L key, then B for bevel again, and bevel it in by -0.4. So it's the same distance as the ones above. Good. I go up with the subdivision level by 2. And now we put in some edges here, or shift up arrow key without shift, deselect this one, and then Alt C, count of 2, symmetry, about so. Drop the tool, let's have a look what we got. Yes, we need some more edges in here now. So select an edge in here, Alt C, 2 with maybe 2%. Let's see what we have now. Yes, looks not bad. Better. Now we put in some edges here. Alt C with maybe 5%. Drop the tool. Much better. That's it. Okay. Next I go to here and we have 42 edges. Why do we have 42? Well, it doesn't matter. It's not a good number. We need something which can be divided by 4, or we will have problems later on. So I put an additional edge in here, Alt C, 1, okay, and now we have 44, and I select this work plane align to selection, top view, A key, then I go to basic mode, a square but no symmetry, and bring out the square in here, about 12 by 12 millimeters, and put it in the middle here and here. Drop the tool. I select this, Alt key and convert, then B for bevel with a round level of 3, yes, and make this like so. Drop the tool. And we have 28 edges now, and we need 44. So I bevel this and delete. We definitely need one in here and one in here. Alt C, count of 1, yes, and then we put 6 in here, Alt C, count of 6, but uniform, and now let's see, 42. I put another one in here. Alt-C, cut of 1. Good. Okay. Next, I select, well, I reset the work plane. So W key, put this up by 2 millimeters. Now we can select these edges here and these edges here and bridge them and reverse the direction. Good. How does it look? It looks pretty good. Nice. Okay. Now I put one more edge here in the middle at 50%. Select this R key and bring it out a bit, not that much, maybe 105%. Yes, good. And then I put in a single edge here to make this area nice and sharp. So that starts to look good. Let's continue. P key for polygon. Then I select this polygon, bevel it in as far as I can without getting problems, like so. Then go to top view and Shift F5 and use Seneca Menar's perfect circle script, and we need some resizing first, then some tweaking. Sometimes it works like a charm and sometimes you have to adjust it, but it's no problem at all. So B for bevel, I bevel this in a bit, perspective mode, Shift X and bring this up exactly 1 millimeter. That's something I can remember. Then I delete this and L, Control X, Control V. Now this is separated and I can select these two and these two edges, Shift, Z key and bring it up again 1 millimeter. Now I want to clone this. Duplicate, clone, number of clones 5, good. Then bring this up and of course this must be 2 millimeters. Drop the tool. Now I can select every second here and rotate it minus 90 degrees. Drop the tool and then I can hide this here and we have 30 vertices merged. So how does this look? It looks good. We don't need these two. Delete. And now I can go to polygon, thicken and thicken it to the negative side, -1 millimeter. Drop the tool. Then we need to harden some edges. So I select an edge in here, 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 and here. Do the same on the other side. So here, here, and Alt C with the count of 2 and symmetry. And 10%, that's good. And this is the device which protects the cable where it leaves the case of the plug. We don't need these here. L key, delete, and go out of subdivision. Now I make the cable. L key, Control X, Control V. Now I can Control copy, Control V this, and R key, and make this about 5000%. And flip it. W key, bring it up, like so. Then I can hide this and run the mesh cleanup, and we have the 44 vertices merged back in again. So unhide everything, go out of sub-D mode, and now we run the cleanup again, and again we merge 44 vertices, and this is now all one geometry. Unfortunately, this was not sub-D'd, so Control Z, unhide, and now run the mesh cleanup. 44 merged, and now it's one geometry, and we need an additional edge in here, maybe 95%. Good. Our plug starts to look like a plug. Okay, then let's continue with the bottom. I go to the bottom view, and first I need a bit more space here. So that's not good. I right click and select these polygons, so it's only selecting on this surface, and then press the R key and make this a bit bigger, about so. Yes, and then delete. Go to edge mode, and we have 28 edges. Okay, then I put in a square and center this on the Z and X. Oh, sorry. This one, of course. That's better. Let's see. Not on the right position. W key. And go to the side view and put it to about here. Good. Before I continue, I will copy this polygon to a new mesh. So Control copy, N for new mesh, Control V, put it in, and I rename this mesh with point source. Put it here, and we don't need to see this, go back to my plug. Next, I select this edge here, R key, and make this smaller. I think we in general need to make this a bit Z smaller, more like this. Yes, maybe go a bit further out. Now I press the Alt key and convert this to vertices. I think I already mentioned it. Alt 1 as a keyboard shortcut does not work for this. So B for bevel with a round level of 2, yes, and make this something like this. Good. R key again and bring it out. B for bevel, bevel it in and delete. Now let's see how many edges we have here. We have 20, so we need 8 more. So I hide this very quickly and select these edges. Alt C, put in 2 uniform, and now we have 28. Good. Unhide this, select these here and bridge all together. Good. Now I can put a poly in here again and bevel this one in a bit more, like so. That's good. Then I select this edge, Alt C, with a count of 2, but symmetry, and Alt 3 to convert this selection to polygons, Shift X, and on the green one bring it up to about here. Good. Now I put some edges in here and here, Alt C, and another one up here, Alt C. Good. Now I can go to my point source and make this. By the way, I will do the pins with replicators. So we need a point source and we need a prototype. And I think this is ideal. And what I also will do, I will do it with a curve and will render this curve. So this might give an idea to one or the other. So I put an edge in here at 50%. By the way, a VGA plug has 15 pins in 3 rows. So we need to do our point source to represent this placement. So select this edge here, Alt C with a count of 4 and uniform. We now have 3 rows with 6 vertices, so we need to get rid of 3 of them. So one here, one here and delete. And now we can size this so it fits inside, like about so. We can always adjust it later. And this does not quite seem right here. W key. Like so. Good. Next, I make a new mesh, N key, and call this pin. I go to the side view, or here, and make a pin from here to here, doesn't matter. And I center this in all dimensions. And now we need a replicator item, so I go to add item, particles replicator, and in the replicator properties we must say the prototype, which is pin 2. We must say the point source, which is this one, point source. And you see now it has put in the pins, and we can now adjust, wrong one. We can now adjust these to the right position, like about so. And in the pin mesh properties, I enable render curves and make the curve radius smaller, maybe 0.4 millimeters. Before we continue, we give these things materials, so M key, and I call this pin. Because I modeled this already before in here, all the materials do exist. Then I go to the plug and select this here, M, and call this metal. Okay, then hide this, select the rest, M, call it plug. Okay, unhide, then take the cable, M, call it cable. Okay, then let's subdivide everything and go to the render tab, and let's have a look. So the pin should be gold, and you see, because the base material is on top of all the other materials, and we can see it disables all the other. This is quite a handy way if you want to go back to the render tab and do something and you don't want to have all the colors. Then you just can enable or make the eye visible and all the materials are gone. But we want to have them, and a nice view, something like this. Pins are maybe a bit too big. Pin, let's make them 0.35. Yes, good. I will not model the screws because the screw top is very trivial to make, and I'm sure you have in your presets some screws which you just can use for that purpose. So I will insert the ones from my first model. Here they come, and our VGA plug is completely finished. I make a quick render of this. And here we are. It is complete. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. Take care and have fun modeling with Modo. See you some other time. Bye bye.